Welcome to the MSP Owner Podcast. Today, I'm excited to welcome Marco Hernandez, the founder and driving force behind Tech It Up IT Services, a nimble one-man MSP based out of Toronto, Canada. Marco's journey into the IT industry spans over 30 years, 3 countries, so he's got a lot of perspective on both the challenges and opportunities of the MSP space. Tech It Up generates $150,000 of annual revenue. Marco really exemplifies what it means to run a lean, efficient business with a laser focus on client satisfaction. And as an immigrant to the US and later to Canada, Marco's story is one of resilience, adaptation, and determination. Since founding Tech It Up in 2008, Marco has faced the temptation to step away and take a high-paying corporate job or at an MSP, but his belief in his own business and the bet on himself has seemed to have always paid off. So, Marco, welcome. And to start things off, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about where your business is at today for some context?
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. This is very excited. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, you made a great introduction. I'm very happy about it. So yes, I run a very lean, nimble MSP. I like the term nimble. Got it from the Tech Tribe. My target market is solopreneurs, small businesses in the GTA West area. I'm in Toronto. I live outside Toronto. I service a suburb outside Toronto. In the west side, there's a lot of cities like Oakville, Burlington, Mississauga, Milton. My specific target are those small businesses from 1 to 25 employees that have a lot of IT going on to run their operations, but not big enough to have a permanent IT on staff. So I found my niche that I really like to serve. Specifically, for example, one of my verticals that I love to service is mechanics, auto services. The auto service industry here is very high tech. And I found a very nice, as I said, that's a very nice niche that keep me busy. They keep me busy, and I love servicing my clients. My services range from the usual, break fix onto the old full MSP offering. My clients go from lawyers, accountants, mechanics, business owners, dentists, you name it. Yeah.
So it sounds like your business is mostly focused locally in the Toronto area.
It is locally what is called the GTA West, the Greater Toronto Area West, because this is very big. We have 6 million people around here.
Wow.
So all the west side of Toronto, we have about 2 million people, give or take, around here. When I started my business, I did a lot of residential service. Now I'm committed fully to MSP. So yes, it's the cities I service. For example, Mississauga, which is a big city, is where our airport is, where the Pearson International Airport is in that area. It's not really Toronto. That city is huge. So I have a lot of clients in the city as well.
Cool. Yeah, there's lots to get into. I'm particularly interested in starting back at your roots because you just have such a diverse background of different experiences, it seems like, which is kind of formulated to create where you're at today. So take us back to whatever the beginning is for you, from a personal or professional perspective, just, for context.
That's a good story. I started in my professional career studies. I went to law school, actually, not computers at all. I come from a family of lawyers. And on my second year, my computer broke. And I took it. I was born in Venezuela. So that was back in Venezuela back then. And way before Y2K. My computer broke, took it to a shop. They did a horrible job. They switched parts. They made a big mess, formatted my hard drive. We lost a lot of data. Horrible. Say, you know what? I'm going to learn how to do this just to fix my stuff and see how it goes, right? And I fixed my computer, and then a friend of mine had a computer issue, and I fixed it. Then I fixed another one. I just took a quick class, one weekend class on computer repair, hardware kind of thing. Back before Windows 3.1. So it was kind of very, very fun. I started fixing computer, and then my mom started telling me, I have a friend that has a problem with the computer. Would you mind helping? I said, sure. One thing led to another. I left law school, switched to computer science, and, almost 30 years later, I'm here. Actually doing exactly the same I was doing when I started 30 years ago on a bigger scale, but I love it. I love servicing people and helping people. But everything started just because I got bad service. And that's what I say I would never again. And that's what I do with my clients. I'm very proud of it.
When did you leave Venezuela? When you were young?
I left Venezuela in 2002. I'm married. So our idea was we moved to the States for schooling. I live in New Hampshire, in Manchester. So I got my bachelor's degree over there. Then I decided to get an MBA. I want to get into the corporate world. So we moved to Cincinnati. I got an MBA over there. But it was hard. It was hard to stay in the States because we needed sponsorship or whatnot. And then Canada had this wonderful program of the skilled workers visa. You get some points and you move to the country. And that's what we did. We moved to Canada 17 years ago. The issue was when you move to Canada, even if you have like a high education from other countries, you have to start over. And that's a challenge that newcomers face coming to Canada. Any newcomer to Canada will tell you exactly the same thing. There's a lot of jobs, but you need to get what is called the Canadian experience, quote unquote. So I moved here, started applying for jobs. I got a lot of interviews, and they say, "Oh yeah, but you don't have Canadian experience." At the 11th month of me looking for jobs and running out of money, the savings were, almost zero. Last interview, I say, you know what? I went to school 8 hours from here. Cincinnati is 8 hours from here by car. It's IT. So you know what? That's it. I'm gonna see if I can do it on my own. And I found a computer service that was franchising to the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area. They're from Ottawa. Something like the Geek Squad, the Nerds on Site, something like that. They were
meant for residential clients
or
or
residential
for business?
clients mostly, and also small businesses. But they were looking to expand their foothold here in the GTA because they were from Ottawa. And I looked them up. They were great. Sound like a fantastic opportunity. So I bought a franchise, so to speak. And that's how I started. And the very next day, I bought the franchise. They provided a lot of support. They had websites, PSAs, RMMs, you name it. We were on the Yellow Pages. So people found me through the Yellow Pages. I started doing residential service, and I started working. The day after, they pretty much gave me my email address and my stuff. Right? A year later, the overhead was huge because when you are a franchisee, maybe you heard the story. Man, the franchise fees kill you. Right? I decided we had a mutual agreement. You know what? I'm gonna go solo. This is really not working out. Like 70% of my income was going towards paying franchise costs.
Wow.
I was working 7 days a week. It was insane. I was making a lot of money, but the overhead was huge. Because I had to keep this Yellow Pages agreement. That was like $5,000 a month in Yellow Pages. This was crazy. Yellow Pages were going out, digital was started to really make its impact. And I say, you know what? And they were great. We parted ways amicably. And I opened Tech It Up. That's why I started going to networking groups.
Were you able to take some of the clients from your franchise experience to
they
Tech It
let
Up?
me. It was fine. They were super
nice.
gracious. They were great guys. If they watching this, they know who they are. They're great guys. Now they're servicing government. They're a huge MSP in the Ottawa area, because Ottawa is where all the government is, and they are super established in Ottawa. And so I got some clients. I always gave the because what happens to, probably you heard it before, with providers like me, the name of the company is not as important as the name of the person. So people will call me and I say, Marco, I got this email from this company that you're no longer with us, but you're going solo. I would like to stay with you. I said, sure, no problem. And they let me that. It's never an issue, never a problem. So I took, I would say, most of it. Just most of the clients came with me.
That is really interesting, because you would think in a situation where you're kind of getting away from another model, they would have been, but that's an amazing, departure.
Phenomenal. They were phenomenal on everything, because, we found they understood, your costs are high, but also we also moving away from this residential thing more into government. So it was, win-win. It was win-win, and it was fine. So from that moment on, we're talking about now 2008, because I moved to Canada 2007, 2008. That's when I went pretty much 100% solo.
Gotcha. And then in 2008, you started. How did you end up finding those? You had your clients from the initial franchise that went into Tech It Up, but then how did you start to find new clients? Networking
groups. I'm a huge networker. I actually a member of one networking group that I'm on the executive. We started with BNI. When I bought the franchise, the guys told me, you have to join BNI. Sure, it's fine. I joined BNI, and yes, it really helped big time.
BNI is a networking group or a peer group?
It's a huge networking group. It's actually American. It's called Business Network International.
Okay.
And they have chapters pretty much all over North America. And BNI, it's a networking group which is category exclusive. So only one accountant, one lawyer, one IT joins, and then we refer each other. It's like any networking group, but we used to meet every week, and I found one group that had an opening for IT, because IT is a category that is easily taken with all these networking groups. And I was lucky to find this group, and I started getting referrals from day one. It's very easy to refer an IT guy, and when people, call for help, I did a good job, and they start referring other people and referring families and friends. It was a steep transition curve from the beginning, because most of the clients I was getting were residential clients. And I love my residential clients. I still service those legacy clients from, back when I started. Of course, I will never, leave them, and I help them. But it was at the beginning a lot of residential clients from all over the place, until people started to see me. Okay, I think you can help handle my business, and then they started refer me to other businesses, until this day that they're very comfortable referring me.
Hi, I'm Ben Tigelaar, the host of MSP Owner Podcast and the CEO of DataTel, an IT managed service provider with 35 employees. The mission of this podcast is simple: to have authentic conversations with IT owners about their journey, how it started, the challenges they faced, and where they're going next. Every episode, I personally walk away with a new actionable item to strengthen my own business. But a quick word about my company, DataTel. We are actively acquiring MSPs who align with our service and culture. So if your company is generating between $1 and $10 million of revenue, I want to talk to you. But wait, you're probably thinking, why me and why DataTel? First is, I get you. I understand the challenges MSP owners face, being one myself, feeling overworked, overwhelmed, constantly being on call, struggling to bring in new business. I have the solutions and people in place to address these pain points. Second is culture. We run our business on EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, which has been transformative for our employees and clients alike. I believe that building a great company comes down to finding and retaining great people who are in the right seats. Everything else is noise. If any of this resonates, it probably means we're a fit and we should be having a conversation. Until then, let's get back to the show. Tell me how the residential model works. I've actually never talked to an MSP that serves residential. So it sounds like that was mostly the business at the starting of the business. So tell me how that works.
Because when I started, it was no MSP infrastructure, right? It was break fix. It's the break fix model.
It was, hey, we need a computer guy, right?
Yeah, my computer got a virus, and I need to clean it up. Sure, I go do it, charge whatever 1-2 hours, whatever it is, and that's it.
Got it.
Which is probably something it will be nice to talk about. Is that transition from the break fix model to a MSP is huge. So the way it started back then, it was nobody was using the term MSP at all. Only big corporations in the Bay Area, downtown Toronto, where the companies had that model. The MSP for residential clients was not a thing. The Geek Squad, the Best Buy Geek Squad, was the one they started kind of using it.
Got it.
And then there's a franchise, I don't know, they have in the States called Nerds on Site. So the Nerds started to try to sell contracts to residential clients, mostly antivirus subscriptions. But in 2008, RMMs were very raw. And it was, for example, I didn't have it because it was so expensive. The only one around here was Kaseya and Autotask. The cost was insane for a small operator like me. So it was a lot of break fix, and people started to get used to that idea. So you can put an antivirus that maybe is better than the Norton you can buy off the shelf. And that's how it started. That's how residential clients started to embrace the MSP model. But it's definitely business. The definitely business are the ones that I have very few residential clients on MSP model. They all mostly break fix. All my businesses are MSP. I have it under my MSP offerings because they see it. They understand the value.
Wow.
But it was hard because there was nothing like that at the beginning.
Yeah, from a business perspective, like I just think, man, serving residential would be so hard.
It is.
Because the clients are they don't have the pocketbooks to do it. They might have pain points, but don't have the pain points that like a business does and is able to facilitate a solution for. So it's impressive that you cut your teeth there, and then over time you transition to more businesses. So can you talk about the transition to finding more businesses? Because obviously you find businesses different than you find residential clients.
Well, that's a great point. That's a great point. It's actually it's kind of the opposite because I'm lucky that I live I mostly operate in a suburb called Oakville. It's a very rich area, so residential clients here will not bat an eye for an invoice. Whatever they need to pay, they will, and it's a problem because I also live here. And it's the Oakville effect. Everything is more expensive here. So residential clients here are very open. The pocketbooks are big, and they want personalized service, which is what helped me grow my business. When people call me, they call me, and I answer the phone. I answer my phone. It's my cell phone. So people in my area like that. They don't like to call an 800 number. Even business clients, they don't like to call 800 numbers, or they like me. They like to see me all the time, which is a challenge also. Being a nimble MSP has its own set of challenges. But what helped me transition, to answer your question, from residential clients to find those businesses is there's a lot of people in this area that had big corporate jobs in Toronto, and they retire, and they say, you know what, I'm bored. I'm going to start a new business from my kitchen table. But these people had a ton of money. So starting a business is not the same as starting a business, right? They don't bootstrap anything. So I had clients that they start a business and, oh yeah, my operating capital for this year probably $5 million. Let's see how it goes. Okay. And so they spend a lot of technology starting. So they call me to help them set up that. And those clients, I got them from residential. They call me because, oh, I need to set up this printer because like I cannot do the Wi-Fi wireless printer thing. And when we start talking, say, you know, Marco, I'm thinking I'm opening a new business, and I'm going into partnership with somebody else, or I got hired as a consultant, but as an independent contractor, so I had to set up an entire office on my own. And that's how a lot of my clients from residential now are business clients, because then they themselves transition and they grew. Also, COVID was way later, but COVID also had an effect of downsizing and reshuffling. And then those residential clients, they all know people, and they started say, this is my IT guy. I do a lot of promotion on digital, and I do a lot of newsletters. That helps a lot because I send the newsletters to my list, and they forward it to everybody. So I also get those secondary leads from my clients forwarding my newsletters or my posts or whatever.
What is the residential? Do you still accept residential clients right now?
Only by referral. Okay. If it's for example, I go to a business that has, 10 employees, and I do something for the office manager, or I'm doing something for example, a dentist, for the doctor. And a lot happens a lot. There comes this the dental dental assistant or the hygienist. Sorry, and they say, Marco, do you do? I have problems in my house. I don't know if you do house calls. Can you help me? I always say, sure, no problem. I don't go after residential clients actively, but I will take a referral from established client to do residential. I know some MSPs will say, pick a line. I sometimes I really try, and I see the value of laser focusing on a niche or stuff. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I see the value of that, but it's hard for me to, when somebody that I've been going to this business for 6 months, and these people see me all the time, we create a rapport and they ask me for help. I don't know. It's hard for me to say, you know what, just go to Staples or call the Geek Squad and they'll help you. So I don't want to trust on the Geek Squad. I'm not trusting the Geek Squad. It's just they're more residential. Right?
It's clear you really care about your clients, and you think of them as like people that you really, really want to help and have solutions for. And like that's what really matters to you.
It's very hard to get a client. And I have lost clients before for disagreements or many other reasons. It's hard to capture clients, hard to keep. So I really go above and beyond to really, keep them happy within reason. But also we have to be happy both. We both have to be happy, right? For example, I'm very clear on clients because I like to set the expectations very clearly when I sign an MSP. Even when I get a lead from a potential MSP client, I have an example. I don't sign clients that work 24/7. I don't. Because my weekends
are... For your own sanity, probably.
For my sanity. So I don't sign clients that work 24/7. Number one, because it's just me. I have partners and I have other MSP providers in the area that we are colleagues, and those guys are awesome. And when I go on vacation, they cover me. When they go on vacation, I cover them. But it's I don't want to be I don't want to have my phone with me like a 24/7, and then at 2 a.m. somebody rings because a server is down. No, I don't So I don't sign clients. And I set those expectations very clearly from the beginning. And I'm convinced there are MSPs, there are 24/7 MSPs that do a fantastic job. For me, I'm happy with servicing that segment of the businesses in the area that close doors at 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, 9 to 6. And they go and here's a lot of golfing and fishing, and they go to the cottage of the weekend and they turn the phone off. That's the kind of business owners that I service, and I'm happy with it. So it's awesome.
That's cool. Like that's your niche, right?
Yeah, that's
and those clients really like the personal touch and approach, and they're okay with a one man shop, right? Like they don't need the 24/7. What they care about is the relationship, the trust, the ability to get stuff done on a reasonable time frame.
You said trust is everything. It's I have right now I'm helping a client that is going through some legal issues, and he said, Marco, we have to prepare everything, all the backups, all the compliance have to be like top, like ready to go at a short notice. So he had to open to me and say, okay, this is what's happening. This is what I need to do. I may or may not go to court or whatever. Please make sure everything is compliance. That's the trust. If the clients don't trust you, they, this is not going to work. And I'm happy to help them go through this transition.
What do you think are I can see some of the challenges of running a one-man shop, right? Like, hey, response times, setting expectations. What do you do when you're out on vacation? I'm sure there's a litany of things that you have to have plans for so that you know how to solve that thing, right? Rather than, there's just always someone sitting there watching the queue.
Number one, you mentioned number one is when I take vacation. I need to have, I travel with my laptop. I can do a lot of remote service, no problem. But I'm being very lucky to meet some other guys like me that also either solo nimble MSPs like me, or they have 1 or 2 employees. Those guys are awesome. And when I go on vacation, if I go overseas, because I have one particular client that is my biggest client, this is an international organization, so sometimes I have to travel overseas. They cover for me. And these guys are extremely good at what they do, so I'm happy. And I deal with them. So, you know what, if you get a call from my clients know this is my backup, call him. I deal with him in terms of billing or whatever. You don't have to pay him anything. I deal with them, and those guys are awesome. That's challenge number one, if I have to travel. Challenge number two is the jack of all trades.
You got to be everything.
Yeah. So I don't know if sometimes I disagree with that saying that you cannot be, jack of all trade, master or none. In IT, I think you have to. If somebody calls me and say, hey, I have a situation with the cabling, with networking. I don't run structured cable, but I have a partner here that all they do is cabling. But I can go in and design the network, and then, okay, this is the switches, whatever. So I can help my clients do that, but I don't do the cabling. So sometimes my clients say, oh, I need 3 LAN drops now. I can't. So that's a limitation when clients ask something outside your scope of competency. Another also that sometimes I see is the lead generation is an issue, but more important, the transition from clients that have been on break fix forever, and you start to, sell them and talk to them, try to sell them MSP. So, you know what? You have paid me on break fix this year X amount of dollars. If I move you to an MSP structure, you probably end up saving money, but you're also going to have more services, more technology, proactive, not reactive, but proactive solutions. And it's a challenge. I've seen that challenge. This is something that I'm facing every day. Some clients that are great clients, they prefer just to pay on demand. They don't want to get any contracts, any agreements. So I see that's the challenge for a nimble MSP, because that monthly recurring revenue is very important. Because
What percent of your business is recurring versus one time?
My percentage right now is like 60-40, and I really work super hard to raise that 60% up.
Yeah.
I would like to be only break fix 10%. I would like to have like 90% of my businesses on MSP, because I keep telling them, when you go to the tech tribe and you see all the spiels on selling, it's all the point. All those guys are right on point. When you have somebody on MSP, you can set up a predictable cost. Also, the technology stack is important. If my clients on break fix, I had to figure out what they do, and they bought a new software, or the nephew of the customer of the aunt recommended some crazy subscription that I had no idea what it is. When you have an MSP, we standard the whole thing, right? From hardware to software. That's a challenge when somebody calls me with a problem and I have no idea what they're talking about. My clients on MSP, I have a baseline of
100%.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing to incentivize those break fix clients to go to MSP, or are they just never going to be able to? And
there's a segment that will never be, and it's just people that by fundamentally they say I don't want, because like it or not, I have a lot of clients that say, oh, I don't sign agreements. I just shake hands, right? But you and I know that when we're dealing with MSP services, we have to have stuff in writing, right? And for liability reasons, to cover your behind and my behind as well, right? Also for insurance, for many reasons. Here in Canada, I know there's some legislation in the states they want to pass to regulate MSPs. We're not as advanced here. But insurance companies, my insurance company, the first thing they ask me is you have to have a contract that covers A, B, C, and D, and E. Since I went to law school, and then I'm also a licensed paralegal here in Canada. I don't practice, but I like law, so I got my license just in case. I know the importance of having contracts, and I don't mind reading. I read and write my own contracts. I do it all. A lot of clients say, no, I don't want a contract. Bye-bye. So I cannot give them, even if I love it, even if we'll pay for it, we have to have an agreement. So the other part to move the break fixes from MSPs is what I start is with backup. Believe it or not, backup is my gateway drug. So you know what? I partner with X vendor to do backup. Oh, that's true, because I do my backup of this memory stick of this 6 years. No. We're gonna stop doing memory stick backups, and let me put you on this system that is something that I monitor, and that's it. Let's try for a year, see how it goes, and then that's what is called the managed services, and that works. That works really well when I send them alerts. You know why your backup didn't work yesterday? What happened? Oh, the computer was off. I knew the computer was off, but I just asked them. Oh yeah, I saw. I'm gonna turn it on and make sure. And then they see it 6 months under. It happened a lot. 6 months down the road, Marco, let's just switch to that service. No, and on top of that, also I'm gonna give you antivirus, or anti-ransomware protection, or an EDR solution. I don't, because you cannot sell features, right? They don't understand features. They had no idea what an EDR is. I just tell them, you know what? If you save a file, it's going to be saved, scan. When you connect a USB that somebody gives you, the system is going to make sure it's safe. That's how I sell the system, the subscription, the contract, and they're happy. So the bottom line is selling backup works at the beginning, and then they decide to move forward to something else.
Yeah, I've heard of some MSPs packaging up kind of like that, right? Like a basic package of like backups plus RMM plus antivirus,
Same
right?
thing.
And then just doing it on a, not very expensive, very cheap. You have it installed so that you can access their stuff, but it's a really low monthly cost for the client. And then they're throwing TNM on top, right?
Yes,
Because then
absolutely.
it makes your job more efficient. Have you ever considered something like that, or that's like
No, I
not worth
don't have
the?
it. I do
Oh,
have. I do have that. What really changed my business, because I was, when I started for the first like 10 years of my business, I was purely break fix, pure break fix. Everything was break fix. What really changed the game for me was when I got my first RMM solution. That I was able to install agents on computers and monitor. That's what changed the game for me. And then the RMM I'm using now, it integrates everything I need, antivirus. So
which
I can
RMM are
just
you using?
Synchro.
Okay,
I don't know if we could say vendors here. I don't know, but yeah, Synchro. I use Synchro, and it's
awesome.
wonderful for me because it's unlimited seats, and that's something that for an MSP like me I think is crucial. If I know businesses depending on your size, if you can buy 100 seats in advance and your subscription is another provider, I don't know, Ninja RMM or the other ones that are out there, they're wonderful. If you have the cash flow go for it. In my case, my RMM is Synchro is unlimited seats. So that allows me to put the agent, since I don't have to pay for seats, to put the agents on those prospects that I'm not too convinced on becoming MSP. I say, you know what? I can give you a monitoring for free for a month. Let me just put the agent, and I show them. I bring my laptop to them and I show them, okay, this is what I see from your computer. I see the memory, how much you have, how much the hard drive has left. And if you get something crazy going on, I will get an alert. And I show them. I'm an open book. I show them, this is how I see your computer. Oh, really? And if you call me, if I need to connect remotely, I can do that. That's the advantage of having a
Huge.
monthly subscription. That works a lot. I cannot do that if I had to pay per seat because I'm gonna be paying. And they decided, oh, let me think about it for 6 months. I'm gonna be paying, $60-$70 just for them to think about it, right? So it helps me to have that kind of service. And then that's how I transition to them. So that's what changed the game for me. Getting an RMM that allows me to do that.
So I'm also curious about where your business is at today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very curious about your aspirations. Like, do you want to grow? Do you want to keep things the same? It sounds like you want to increase your recurring revenue and then get rid of some of the break fix and have a more stable business. But like, what's your aspirations for this? Do you want to hire employees at some point, or you're committed to staying, you and having control?
I had techies before. When I bought that franchise that I told you about at the beginning, I had techies. I had two actually.
Got it.
The issue with that is I had to generate a lot of revenue just to pay those salaries. If you ask me if I want to grow, the answer is I don't know, and that's I want to get, because as I said before, I have one client that is my white whale. That is, it's my bread and butter, which is, we mentioned that when I contacted you, it's not a salary because it's not. I'm a service provider, but it's an important part of my revenue because it's a lot of people. It's very specialized. My aspiration is if I can become a virtual CTO of 2 or 3 or 4 clients like that, instead of having, is the 80-20 principle, pretty much. I want 80% of my revenue to be 20% of my clients, pretty much. So not the other way around. Right now, it's that imbalance of 60-40 that we spoke before. I want to have 3-4 more of these clients like the one I have right now, which I have the capacity to serve because all the automation. This client that I'm telling you, for example, our universities it's like a 650 clients that I have to kind of deal with. But the RMM and all the automation that I have now allows me to do wonders without spending a lot of time. I want to do that. I want to find 3, 4, or 5 of those other clients that are large enough, but not crazy enough, so I can still have my weekends free. But I know the threshold. The second I hit that threshold and I have to hire a techie to do that, I have no problems at all. Have I reached that threshold? No, I haven't yet. But I'm open now, of course. I'm always open. One of my colleagues is hiring now. I just got the email this morning. He's put it on LinkedIn. He's hiring a techie because he's growing. And I like his model. So probably I'm leaning towards that. Maybe have one techie or two to do that. But yes, the answer is yes.
Cool.
It's time because we're not getting young. So it's also timing. It's a matter of if I started an MSP, if I started my MSP now, yes, I will definitely strive for more like aggressive growth in terms of hiring, doing more sales, hiring somebody that can help me on sales, and also hiring another techie to cover more area.
Where do you feel like it's the largest, I guess where your aspirations want to go, and you want to find those extra 3 or 4 or 5 clients that are going to be bigger, not small, and they're going to have a meaningful impact? How are you going to go about finding those clients? Because you have specific parameters that you need to fit for, your model, right?
Yep. I'm lucky that I have some residential clients that are executives from big companies, and they are very still well connected. So when I see them, I always talk to them and say, this is what I'm looking now. I'm looking for when I found my mechanics is a good example. I started servicing one mechanic, and I really liked it. I really like going to a shop, going in the back, and I see the other guys fixing cars. And then auto shops these days are very high tech. So everything is connected. Everything is online. I talk to these guys and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking to expand in this vertical. And then some of my mechanics told me, Marco, I'm going to connect you with a company in Canada called Shop Pros. They service mechanics for their own systems, the invoicing, billing, whatever. I think that's a good connection for you to do. So my mechanic, which only fixes car, he buys from another vendor, but he said, you know what? I'll connect you to this vendor of mine because I know there's opportunities there. And I'm making inroads towards that kind of expansion because it's within the same industry. So there's a language that I can speak to them because they ask me. I had talked to other people, say, oh yeah, you service shops, so you know what this is and what is that, and the challenges they do have. So this is what I'm looking for. So I don't want to ramble too much, but this is what has worked for me. Is the trust. I sit down with my clients because I have also my background in business that sometimes I wear the hat. So I take it off and I put it on. So I can talk to a guy on returns of investments, on capital gains or whatever, and in integrating IT to reach those goals. And people seem to respond. And also politics. Politics are huge now in Canada. So we can talk about, interest rates and all that stuff, how it's affecting the business. And they helping me connect to other people that maybe say, Marco, maybe something there. So for me, it's talking to my current clients. That's what has helped me grow. And I'm very open. I'm very kind. I'm a Latin. I'm very Latin. I'll tell them, this is what I want to do. Can you help me? I always ask for help. I think I put it on the email I sent you is you have to know when to ask for help. You have to have a support system. You have to, I ask for help when I need it, and that works for me. And my clients respond, and I'm happy for it. I'm grateful for that.
I'm really curious about, you've obviously had alternatives and options to go, work for an MSP. And arguably you could probably make more and take home with less stress working for someone else.
Yeah.
And how have you stayed so committed, and what are your motivations there? Like, what's your thought, or have you ever been tempted?
No, I was, and I went through actually. I'm not a real life example. Right after COVID, believe it or not, COVID for my business was good. Was very good. So it was good, but I really was. It was not wonderful. It was good. I mean, I was able to pay the bills, but a lot of my clients shut down. A lot of my clients, because of the pandemic, they have to leave. They left the offices, so they let leases expire and all that. So I got a job offer, and I took it. I say, you know what, this is, they paid. The offer was wonderful. The company was like 5 minutes from my house, and it looks wonderful. All the package. I lasted a day. I quit the next day. And I'm not ashamed to say I quit it. I couldn't do it. And I told the guy and it was for operations, for IT operations. And now the excellent salary, I say, I've been on my own for more than 20 years. And when these wonderful people say, welcome to the organization, here's your cell phone and your laptop. Make sure you have this phone open on 24/7. That's what really freaked me out. And I say, no, because I have a lot of clients. I could hire somebody to take care of my clients and do it. We can say, no, if I put somebody else, my clients are going to leave. And I know I can do more. So I decided, next day, bye-bye. This is not for me. But I set a goal, and my goal was, I have to make whatever they pay me within a year. Otherwise, I'm going back to look for a job. Otherwise, I'm going to feel horrible. It's going to be, what's the point?
So you set a financial goal.
A number.
Yeah,
I had a number.
You had to,
dollar
right?
sign. I have to make with my business, the revenue has to be this amount of dollars, which is exactly the money they're paying. Take off, all the bonuses and all that. Just do net, the net, the gross, right? This is the number. If I can make that number within 12 months, I think I'll believe I made the right choice, and I did. Because
awesome.
Before, as you grow older, you get more comfortable. Being comfortable is very dangerous, right? Because I'm paying the mortgage, I'm paying the bill, I'm paying the car insurance. I can, go eat at a restaurant. I'm good. The problem is that's not how the world works, right? Everything goes up. In Canada, for example, everything went up 30% after the pandemic. Everything across the board, everything. We also had the issue with the exchange rate with the US dollar. All our services, all of my subscriptions are US dollars, so that goes up. When I moved to Canada, it was parity. $1, 1 Canadian, 1 US. Now it's 1.4. So 1.4 Canadian dollars per US dollar. So everything is up 40%. So the temptation that a lot of IT guys have, which I met a couple that decided to close shop, and here in this area, you want to get a government job in the province of Ontario. If you get a government job with Ontario, you're set for life. And they're super happy. I cannot. I have to, some people say, yeah, but you don't have a boss when you work for your own. Yeah, I have 290 bosses. Those are my clients. And every one of my bosses is different, and I love them. I'm happy. But the temptation is real, my friend, and it's there all the time. Yeah, all the time. I have a buddy that I trained when we were working back in Venezuela. I used to work for Compaq Computer back in the old days when Compaq was around. I trained him when he joined, and he's in the States making a killing, super well deserved, because this guy is smart as he comes. And he's making like 1,000,000 times more than me. And I'm super happy for him because he's in corporate, right? As that you have to find a motivation. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you know the life of an entrepreneur. We don't do it for the money. We do it for, so we don't have nobody to tell us what to do, but we have a lot of people to tell us what to do because our clients tell us what to do every day. Right?
Yeah.
Sorry to ramble about that, but I love
no,
it.
That resonates. I've owned a company, and I've felt at times, I'm a prisoner of my own business, right? Mm-hmm. And I was envious of some of my employees because my employees could just come in and quit whenever they wanted. And I'm like, that's freedom. That's freedom, right? To be able to pick and choose wherever you like, show up to work and then feel like you don't want to show up. I was like, wow, I'm jealous. So I've got this stuff that I have responsibility, I have accountability that is long term, right?
What I haven't experienced that I would love to maybe you have an insight is what I see with my auto shops, my mechanics is the new generation of technical people, because I'm from the old generation, right? And a lot of my mechanics say we have a lot of trouble hiring young guys to do technical work, to fix cars, because they all want to do it with a tablet, right? And a lot of that, sometimes that doesn't work. So I don't know if the guys that come after us, because I want to retire, I'm not going to do this forever. How is their drive? Is they're willing to, like you say, I don't want to go work, I don't go. We cannot do that. We cannot say, okay, today I don't feeling like invoicing my clients, so I'm not going to do it. No, you have to. I don't know what the new challenges are for hiring new techies. That's something that I need to face when the time comes.
There's lots of options out there in this new world, right? So there's local labor. There's also global support, right? You can hire internationally. You could hire remote, in some other city. There's like so many options these days. And then also the tools that you're buying are kind of, they're taking functions that employees were doing at some point, right? Mm-hmm. So you're currently using tools to help run your business, right? And so automation and AI is going to help you be able to run your one-man shop better and faster. I'm feeling, and maybe you could scale without having to hire extra, right? Given if you set things up the right way.
Yeah, is that or hiring this help desk, this virtual help desk for tier 1 or for level 1?
Exactly. Support. Yeah.
I really know here. I don't know anybody who has done it.
I've done it.
And I don't know the results, honestly. That's also something that I definitely I hear from the tech tribe that a lot of MSPs have benefited, because then that you can just quote unquote unplug yourself or disconnect yourself after 5 or 6 p.m. and you have a tier 1 help desk taking those calls, right? And I've seen, that's the other thing. Before that was completely prohibited. Now I've seen the cost is very affordable. It's just a matter of finding the right partner.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Marco, really appreciate your time and diving into your history. I mean, running a one-man shop and getting to where you've gotten is awesome and incredible. And it seems like you're on the path that you want to be on. And it sounds like you got some growth and opportunities coming up that I hope you figure out that path and make the best of it.
Oh man, this was awesome. Thank you so much. And that's what we're here to learn. We might not have all the answers, but again, that support system, like when I found you from the tech tribe, has been awesome for me. I can ask questions.
Huge.
That's huge. I'm telling you, that's how I found you. And I go to the tech tribe is on my bookmarks every day. It opens when I open my browser, because I
awesome.
love seeing what's happening there, and it's important. So thank you so much. This was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Marco.